and welcome to the month of July. I can't believe it's July already. It's my birthday month. Woohoo! Our group healing balance. So I'm not going to actually do the balance in front of you today. It's already been done. So I started about an hour ago, and it's almost 3 o'clock on the 4th of July. So my apologies for being a little bit late again this month. It's funny actually. I decided, I sort of got a bit of a download that this month's balance would be on balance, a bit of work-life balance and just balancing the areas in our lives. And I was beating myself up a little bit for not being on the Monday, which is my usual, first Monday of the month, which I know probably means nothing to anyone out there other than me, that I try and commit to that. But sometimes it just doesn't work. So holidays have just started for us and it just didn't work. Monday just didn't work. And I was beating myself up a bit because I was like, well, I really should get it done. And if you're anything like me, there's instances like that in life, right? Where things just don't happen. And it wasn't actually feeling energetically right for me anyway. And I felt like if I'd done it then, it would have been forced. So I waited for the inspiration to come, and that was today. So yeah, and it was actually perfect. So I actually drew a card to kind of back up, what I was feeling about this balance, and what came was really, really interesting. So the actual card that I've got a new deck of cards, so I'm a little bit naughty at the moment. I've been buying a few different things, but this one is from the Sacred Rebels cards, and it's it's a bit hard to read because oh yeah, that's it. Follow your own rhythm. Now, I actually got my affirmation for our balance from the book on this. And what it's about is really honoring that place in you that, the ebb and the flow. So I'm probably talking more about the feminine. It applies to the masculine too, but I'm coming from a feminine perspective because I'm female, I guess. But that really feminine thing is that we move with the moon, and there is an ebb and a flow, a natural cycle of rhythm. And when we go against that and we push and we strain and we, stretch ourselves, often it doesn't work. And that's when we become really feeling stretched and really overwhelmed, and, things don't move forward for us. So this card's really about honoring those natural rhythms within ourselves, understanding that we're not always going to be able to meet other people's expectations of us, that at different times we might feel inspired and other times no, that we might just need that to go internally and rest and recuperate. And then, at the time that feels right, we might, it might be 2 o'clock in the morning, but it might be up and actually being inspired and doing whatever it is that we need to do. So it's really trusting our own rhythms, and really getting clear with that within ourselves. And so that's what the balance has actually been on. So I'm going to read you the affirmation, and I'm actually going to share this as well because I'd like you to feel into it for yourselves and to actually say it out loud for yourself and feel what comes up about it as well, because that's part of the process for this particular balance. So the affirmation that we use today is, I now release any unhealthy attachment to the structures, routines, and belief systems of others that are preventing me from accessing and honoring my inner sacred rhythms. May I be assisted through unconditional love to know the truth of my own timing. I love myself enough to give myself rest when needed, to trust in my own timing and not feel forced or rushed. I believe in myself enough to take healthy, inspired risks and action when the timing feels right to me. I trust in my inner rhythms. They are wise and helpful. Through unconditional love, so be it. So, as I said, I will share that in the comments so that you can read that out loud for yourself. And what I'd really like you to do is just be aware of what comes up for you as you're saying that. So directly afterwards, close your eyes and just be really present to how you feel about that, because it could present a few challenges. Although I have balanced around this now, so hopefully it feels a little bit more encouraging. There was another card as well that came up, which I thought was quite pertinent as well, because it's against the grain. Isn't it beautiful? I love these cards already. This is my first time using them. And, that's as it suggests, it's about us being empowered to move to the beat of our own drum, and that could be against what society views as norm, as it's like swimming upstream, and that it's okay to be empowered with that, to take the action, and to feel okay within that as well. So that was pretty cool as well. Okay, so for the balance this time, I actually tapped into a few frequencies, and so I asked little buddy's here with me, and yeah, I tapped into the group energy as I always do, and a few of these supportive frequencies came up to work with, and they were. Well, first of all, the body system, which wasn't the frequencies, but that was about the adrenal medulla. So that was about supporting the autonomic nervous system, which we know when we're stressed, that can be thrown completely out. So that's what we worked on today. And the things that came up to be supported with frequencies was a new guide energy coming in. So if you're of the belief that we have guides, then it feels as if there's a new energy coming through for us, which is wonderful. Delete stress receptors. So that's about yeah, taking away or minimizing those stress receptors that we have. So that's what's triggered in our fight or flight, and you know, when we're under stress. So that makes sense in context for what we're trying to achieve with this balance. Energy around the bed. Now this is more a lifestyle change. So it's really encouraging you, well, I balanced it, but it's also encouraging to look around the bed. So within this day of, you know, our mobile phones and all the rest of it around us all of the time, that energy, the EMFs and things can really affect us. So if you don't already, move your mobile phone. Don't have it next to your bed. I know people say they use the alarm. If you've got an ensuite, put it in there so that you can still hear your alarm. I know it's a pain to get up and go to. At the very least, and I've heard mixed things about this, but put it on airplane mode. That's how I used to sleep with mine, and then I did a bit more research, and there's some people that say it doesn't matter anyway, and some apps will still run in the background with that anyway. So I've actually completely removed my phone from my bedroom space, and just making sure everything's turned off if you don't need it on. Okay, because these things are interfering with our sleep. And as we know, as women particularly, sleep is so important to us. Men tend to survive a little bit better on sleep, on lack of sleep, but women really need our sleep. And I've just noticed myself recently that my sleep's been a bit up and out of the ordinary again. I was doing really well for a while there, but it's starting to, so I'm being really conscious of what tech I'm having before bed. So I'm trying to read a book rather than be in front of a screen before bed. So personal chattels and clothing as well came up for the frequency work. I'll also post the frequency. So when I say I'm working with frequencies, they are a series of numbers. And what you can do, although I've balanced them already, but you can have a look at them, is simply repeat the sequence, and that will help shift the energy around them, or help support in those areas. So the other one is personal chattels and clothing. And so that's really, I feel, about decluttering. So maybe it's looking at where in your life you need to make some more space there, and clear that energy of old stagnant energy, I guess, is probably where where that's going. And I have helped support that too. So maybe you'll find yourself clearing out those cupboards or something. I just did mine yesterday, so it's really bizarre. Maybe this balance is more about me than anyone else, but I'd love to hear if it's working for you too. Okay, so the overall energy was fear. I think sometimes for that is fear of us doing things to our own rhythm. I feel like that's a big one for women particularly, is to step into that and say, well, no, actually doesn't feel right for me right now, because we have those expectations of ourselves. The stomach meridian came up to work with. The energy of I feel powerless came up. I think in society, when we're taken away from that inner power, and we're not honoring our rhythms, that's when things start to go over to that feeling disempowered. So that I feel powerless really, I think, makes sense in this context. As I've already said, we've worked on the adrenal medulla to help support the body, the autonomic nervous system as well. So within this, we did a body systems clearing, which was on that adrenal medulla, and we did an immune support within that, as well as we released guilt, actually, which was interesting, using the ESR technique. So The guilt was, um, I felt like it was coming from within, and I think it's that guilt. Well, I'm probably speaking more personally here, but I felt it was about the guilt of taking time and doing things in the rhythm that we know because we've been conditioned to do it otherwise. So yeah, so I helped release some of that guilt today, I hope, for you. The next thing that we had was the Cook's technique. Now, if you don't know the Cook's technique, I will show you right now, but it's basically crossing, first of all, you cross one ankle over the other. It doesn't matter which ankle it is. And next you're crossing the same wrist as you did ankle, and you're interlocking your fingers. And then when you're lying, you can do this lying down or sitting up. If you're sitting up, you can just sit there like this, but just put your arms down. Can't really see me, but and if you're lying down, you can flick your arms up. Okay, so the key things to remember are crossing one foot over the other, one ankle over the other, and then keeping your wrists, the same wrist, crossed over. And then we're just lying there until we feel a niggle, an uncomfortable pain or something in your body. Okay, and that's your signal to uncross everything and put your fingertips together. Now, this could be a process of 2 minutes, or it could be 20 minutes, or it could be longer than that. I do this before I go to sleep at night, particularly when I've got the monkey mind going. I'm going to encourage you to do this over the next 24 hours at some stage, and if you feel like you're getting a difference with this, I'd encourage you to do this on a daily basis, okay? Because this is about integrating our left and right brain. It's about calming and centering, which is where we need to come from to be able to approach life from our natural rhythms as well. Okay, so that's, it's perfect that it came up, and it is something you will need to do for yourself because little buddy, he's not so great at crossing ankles over and wrists and things, so it's best that you do that one for yourself. Okay, and then finally, we had, I did a time of day balance. Now all that means, and I think this is quite relevant also to this balance, is that sometimes our body clocks get out of whack. Now this can happen with interrupted sleep, it can happen with jet lag, it can happen, just body clock, you know. I think mums with small children particularly get all out of whack because we're up at all hours of the night potentially. So this was just balancing that. And so, yeah, I did a little balance on that first so that we're back in the right time of day, which may help also with your sleep. So see how that goes for you tonight. And the final one that we did a bit of a sound clearing with some tuning forks, but it's called Attitude with Essence, this particular thing. And we came up with the pine bark flower, so the Buddy's Body, the group energy, chose that. And it was about an attitude, and I'm going to read it to you because it was spot on as well. And, you know, this stuff blows me away. So the affirmation was, I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly, and supportively transform my obligations overwhelming me into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly, and supportively take on those responsibilities which are in the best interest of myself and others. I will assess my accomplishments and failures realistically and with love. And I think when we're moving with our natural rhythms and trusting that within us, sometimes we have to take stock of those outside influences and say, well, you know, where am I taking on too much, and where do I need to create more balance? And so I hope that will have the desired effect for you, and that you find that you see a little bit of a shift in that prioritizing. That was actually another one that came up. I didn't put that down, but there was another one about prioritizing the urgent and non-urgent in our frequency. So I worked on that within the balance as well. So yeah, really just around creating balance and also trusting that our own rhythms and cycles, and that's actually how from the feminine we come back into balance, is by focusing on that. So that's what our balance was on this month. I really hope you see some differences. Would love to hear from you. I really love doing these, and I'm releasing the pressure on myself. I'm going to say that generally my healings will come in the first week of the month rather than on the Monday if it can't work. I do aim for the first Monday, but if I can't get there, please expect this sometime during the first week, and it'll be a little bit of magic when it comes your way. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm at Paige Haynes Kinesiology on Facebook, or www.paigehaynes.com. Any of those ways you can get in touch with me. I have a new neurolinguistic kinesiology course starting in September, and that will be, I think it's late September. I can't quite remember the date. It is on my Facebook page. There's an event created. There's been quite a bit of interest already. There will be 8 spots available. So if you are keen at all, please start to get in touch, because they will fill up quick. And I think that's about it from me from this month. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. And I hope to see you in person sometime soon. Mwah.